Hello, grade 8 students! It's another exciting and musical day for all of us. We have another interesting topics to discuss today. I am Ma'am Maan Abejero, your music teacher, and I will be discussing the musical theater and festivals of Asia. But before we start, here are some online etiquettes that you need to observe during the live streaming class. Number 1, respect everyone. Number 2, no hate talking. Number 3, be directed with the anti-cyberbullying law. Number 4, no promotion of any products or items. Number 5, use proper words in giving suggestions, comments, and queries. I hope everyone will be guided by the said protocols for us to maintain order during our session. So allow me to give you the competencies that you are about to learn in this video. Identifies musical characteristics of selected Asian musical theater through video films or live performances. Describe the instruments that accompany kabuki, wayang kulit, and Peking opera. Describes how a specific idea or story is communicated through music in a particular Asian musical theater. And for our objectives, identify the varied art forms used in Asian musical theater to communicate tales of everyday social and cultural relevance and interest. Analyze how elements of sound, gesture, movement, and costume affect the creation and communication of meaning in an Asian musical and popular theater. And evaluate the performance of each group with regards to cultural relevance, music performance, and movement. But before we proceed to our discussion for today, let us have a short activity. This activity is entitled Guess the Country. In this activity, you need to identify the following features that I'm going to reveal piece by piece. All you need to do is to identify the musical instrument and answer what country it is originated. Your choices are Japan, China, and Indonesia. Comment down below your answer on the chat box. Are you ready? Let's begin. Good job, class! Let's now proceed. Ready? Go! Very good, class! Let us see the next musical instrument. Ready? Go! I'm impressed, class! Some of you got the right answer. Let's proceed to number 4. Ready? Go! I think you can perfect this activity. Let us now go to the final instrument. Ready? Go! Wow! You are really familiar with the instruments. I hope you enjoy our short activity. Click the heart button if you enjoyed this. Before we start, let me ask you these questions. Did you ever experience watching a stage play or theater play? How was it? Did you enjoy watching? In this unit, you are about to discover the traditional Asian theater art of Japan, China, and Indonesia. You will have a unique experience on how this traditional theater music is performed. Theater arts are one of the ancient traditions of the people in Asia, particularly in Japan, China, and Indonesia. This theater art form was transmitted from generation to generation. The message in every presentation conveys reflection of everyday life. Now, let us talk about first the Japanese theater. Japan is rich in culture and tradition. Ikebana, cherry blossoms, kabuki, and no or represents the beauty of its cultural heritage. One of the traditions that is very popular until today. The traditional form of theater which began at the end of 16th century and soon became the most successful theater entertainment in the red light districts of the great cities. Also, it is considered as the most important Japanese contribution to the world of theater. No and kabuki are considered the most Japanese contribution to a world theater. Also, they are unique and genuine expressions of the Japanese spirit and culture. Did you know that Sakura is one of the popular traditional songs of Japan? Sakura means cherry blossoms. It is a traditional song that produces distinct characteristics used in the Asian style of making melodies, also known as pentatonic scale. The pattern is mainly developed by using the pentatonic style adapted mainly from China. This style is mostly used in the performance of no and kabuki. One of the key features of Japanese theater is the vocal technique used in singing. The continuous pattern or ippon-koshi, it is used in speeches building up to an explosive climax in the aragato style. It requires an extraordinary breath control that only few experts succeed in achieving. Another technique adapted from the chanting is called nori. It implies a very sensitive capacity of riding the rhythms of shamisen, a string instrument, declining each accompaniment. Yakuharai technique in the same way describes the subtle delivery of poetical text written in the Japanese metrical form of alternating 7 and 5 syllables. Now, let us move on to vocal and instrumental features. Dances and movements are accompanied by shamisen music, collected and popularized a number of aspects from all previous forms of Japanese music. Gagaku, classical court music imported from China during the 18th century. Kagura performed in Shinto shrines. No chant derived from Shomyo, the sophisticated and rich tradition of Buddhist chanting. Nagauta, a love song which reached a golden age in the first half of the 19th century as dance music for the hegemony. Naugata music is very flexible. It can be performed by one shamisen or by an entire orchestra of 20 musicians. Kabuki is a traditional Japanese popular drama with singing and dancing performed in a highly stylized manner. It also has a blend of music, dance, mime, and spectacular staging and costuming. It has been a major theatrical form in Japan for 4 centuries. Now, let us watch the performance of kabuki in Japan. Now, let's move on to Chinese theater. Chinese theater traditionally was considered as the highest form of arts in China. Peking opera is also known as the Beijing opera, still follows the traditional Chinese arts in expressing meaning rather than precise action. It is a stylized Chinese form of opera dating from the late 18th century in which speech, singing, mime, and acrobatics are performed to an instrumental accompaniment. It became fully developed and recognized by the mid-19th century. It was regarded as one of the cultural treasures of China and was extremely popular in the Qing dynasty court. The opera artist's goal is to make every performance exceptionally beautiful in every moment that they will make. Basically, the Peking opera has two main styles of making, namely Erwang and Lispil. Lispil has lower sound than Erwang. These styles are very similar and the only difference is the key. They also utilize the technique called fan-fan, which is commonly used for sorrowful songs and is only sung by burdened characters. The orchestra of a Peking opera is different from the Western orchestra. It comprises about 8 musicians sitting on stools in the far corner of the stage. The conductor usually sits in the center of the orchestra and creates a tempo with this drum. Now, let's move on to Peking opera vocal. Even spoken passages are governed by strict rhythms and tempos. Chanted and sung passages are freely inserted into spoken monologues or dialogues. Most music used in Peking opera has been worked out collaboratively between actors and musicians. The actor's delivery of lines is rigidly controlled by conventions. Each role has its prescribed vocal timbre and pitch, and syllables are often drawn out with regards to conversational usage in order to maintain the appropriate rhythm. Peking opera. The form used in Peking opera is a collection of many older forms, but the new form also introduced its own innovation. The vocal requirements of all the major roles were greatly reduced for Peking opera. The popularity of Peking opera has been attributed to the simplicity of the form, with only a few voices and singing pattern. The highest aim of performers is to put beauty in every motion. Here are some pictures of Peking opera performers. Now, let's watch the Chinese Peking opera performance. Now, let's move on to another musical theater and festival of Asia, which is the Indonesian theater. Shadow puppet theater is a well-known Indonesian theater, popular not only in their own country, but spread in several countries around the world. The wayang kulit is one of the oldest continuous traditions of storytelling in the world, which includes the use of puppet materials and background musical accompaniment to make it interesting to the audience. Wayang is an Indonesian and Malay word for theater, while kulit means skin and refers to the puppet that are carefully cut into a very fine tools and supported with carefully shaped buffalo horn handles and controlled rods. Now, let's talk about the performance of wayang kulit. The audience is the most important person in a wayang kulit performance. The dalang prepares all the materials used like the cloth and the light for the shadow. The puppet on the right side signifies the good character, and on the left-hand side, the bad character. The open space between them, about 2 meters wide, represent the stage. Now, who is dalang? The puppeteer is called dalang. He is characterized by his being creative, humorous, and flexible. He manipulates the puppet, sings, and taps out signals to the orchestra. He also speaks the parts of all the characters. The use of voice interchangeably is the main ability of the dalang to give more life to a different character. The dalang sings the mood song sulok at irregular intervals during performance. Wayang kulit was performed in royal court and widely performed in public on religious occasions. Now, let us watch a video of wayang kulit. Wow! I'm sure you enjoyed those amazing theatrical and Festival of Asia performances. As you were able to observe, we know now that the Kabuki, Peking Opera, and Wayang Kulit have their own distinction of presenting their performance to the audience. You have seen the different performances in Japan, China, and Indonesia with their origin and classifications as well. It is now time to test your skills. Let's have an activity. Get your pen and paper. Write the letter of the correct answer in your notebook. Are you ready? Let's begin. Alright, now let's check your answers. Number 1, letter A, Yakuharan. Number 2, letter C, Kabuki. Number 3, letter B, Wayang Kulit. Number 4, letter D, Dalang. And number 5, letter A, Fanfan. Good work! I hope you got all the items correct. Click the heart button if you got all the correct answers, but if it's not, that's okay. We will try again in our follow-up discussion. That ends our discussion, and I hope that you learned a lot today in our music class. Once again, this is Mama Ann Abejero, your music teacher, but before we parted, always remember, music gives a soul to the universe, wings to the mind, fly to the imagination, and life to everything. Stay safe, everyone. Have a good day.